Hello and welcome to an auspicious day. We are going to be having a look again at Europa Universalis 5 and the changes and fixes and updates that are coming to the game after it has released. It's been out for a month now. Literally 1 month ago today is when the game released. So what better time to release a couple of updates in the same day that I think are pretty good. We're going to start, of course, with the update that you may have noticed that you got on Steam. Even if you have absolutely no intention of looking at the forums, the Reddit, the whatevers, you will have gotten this 1.0.9 patch. And look, there's just some bug fixes. There's four bug fixes, crash to desktop stuff fixed, whatever. This is irrelevant. I wasn't planning on making a video about this. The thing that is good about today, though, is that we also get access to the new open beta, 1.0.10. And this one is, in fact, the exciting one. And again, I can show you how you open that up. If you're on Steam, you right-click on your game in the library, go to Properties, go to Betas, and then in this drop-down menu, make sure you choose 1.0.10. Close that. You'll have this change to Update, and then you're good to go. It's really that simple. You can do it. I believe in you. Anyway, we have a bunch of hotfix updates, changelog stuff, and I'm not joking when I say we have a bunch. There is so much, and I've read through a bunch of it. I haven't read through everything, but I've read through a bunch, and well, we'll go through some, and then I'll pick out some highlights from the end of it. But anyway, the highlights: new set of advances for Italy, Sokoto, Manchu, Kurdistan, Malacca, and Malaya. Very nice. Rebalancing of proximity. Reducing some sources, making lakes and rivers impactful. Roads, when built, now ignore vegetation impact on proximity. And this is something I'm very excited to get to grips with and sort of play around with. While I haven't done too much playing in India, I think this will really impact India quite heavily. Obviously, the biggest problem that you have in India, if you're not, on the coast, is the south of India is full of jungles, and jungles are really bad for proximity. Well, maybe not anymore. Obviously, it's going to help in Germany as well, a lot of forests in there, etc. Just, this is going to be very impactful. Some buildings, like marketplaces and market villages, now increase market access. Cool, very nice. We have new advances for Kurdistan, Manchu, we have a new government reform for Sweden's Stadga. I don't know what this is, but sure. New advances for Sokoto and also for Italy. Looking forward to finding out what these are. I will start my 17th Milan campaign in a few moments. Gameplay-wise, there is a government reform where you must have your... Not government reform, sorry. It's a law. I think it's the battle leadership law. One of them is that you must have your ruler as a commander during war. Which, if you had a female ruler, you could sort of get around that. Not anymore. Now, gender is no excuse to avoid dying for your nation, royal peasant. Cognatic primogeniture now goes through dead children in the right order. What had happened before is, if you had your ruler, then a child, and then that child had a child, but then your original child, the middle child, your son, died, instead of the succession going to their child, as it should do under cognatic primogeniture, it was in fact going for the dead child's brother, which is incorrect. And I do recall there was on the forum someone very angry about that. Well, I guess anger works sometimes, because, that got fixed. Magna Carta now gives some levy combat efficiency, and I actually wanted to have a look at this, because Magna Carta was... It's freaking awful, I'm not gonna lie. So now we have Magna Carta giving 10% levy combat efficiency. This is not enough for me to really want to keep it. Noble's power plus 20% is really not worth these things. But yeah, 10% levy combat efficiency. I guess, sure, maybe we'll see if that is enough to make me want to keep Magna Carta around, or if I just want to remove it immediately. Enforcing culture on a subject will cancel their attempts to assimilate into other cultures. I have noticed that when you enforce culture on a subject, they no longer try and culture convert their lands. maybe I don't know. I don't think I've ever known my subject to have an attempt to assimilate into other cultures. So this one I'm not sure about. If you have any more ideas about what this one means, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Fiefdoms and dominions can no longer pump up the stats of their ruler through the parliament. Okay, that's another nerf to the 1,000 fiefdom strategy. That's no longer a thing. Reduced the OP Byzantine conscription from insanity to decent, and this is another one that I want to check out. If I remember rightly, it was 10%, 10% manpower on a cabinet action. Let's see if we can see it. Was it New Imperial Army? I mean, it's still this. Maybe it's something else, but what's Byzantine conscription? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But I don't actually see anything there. Is there something in the theme system, potentially? I'm not sure. Was it a Greek thing? No idea. Again, if you know what this one is, let me know, because I was under the impression that it was the New Imperial Army advance, and this I don't think has changed. I think this was always 10%. But if it wasn't and this did get nerfed, then sure, whatever. I think when you get into the Age of Revolutions, this doesn't really matter, like, at all. So, whatever, sure. If that's what that was, then I don't think it was insane, and I guess now maybe decent is fine. Anyway, if there's something else, again, let me know. Further revisions on population demands to balance estate economies, very nice. Increasing the strength of navies anti-piracy by a large amount, so hopefully we're going to have fewer piracy things. Noble Recruitment Center gives 25 nobles, not 250. I don't know what a recruitment center is. I don't think I've ever used one or seen one. Is it one of the nobles that when they build their own buildings? Is that one of those? Because I don't recall what they are. So again, let me know in the comments if you are aware. Remove the impact of trade on the economic base and instead restore train maintenance to the intended size. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was a part of 1.0.9. Apparently it isn't. So, okay. Another rebalancing to the economy. We'll see how that works out. Pop demands for weaponries for peasants are now checking the privilege again. Paved and later roads are now giving a bit better paths from market access. And then market access changed from 15 to 25% and 20 to 40%. Downstream of a river is still 50%. Basically, how your locations want to, search for markets to become a part of. So a bit of a rebalancing there. Market villages now add 10 burgers per level. This is kind of huge. I mentioned in a previous video that I was kind of stunned, maybe, that market villages were like one of the top built buildings of the game so far. And I was told, in no uncertain terms, in the comments, that market villages are low-key OP. And maybe... does this make them more or less OP? Adding more burgers per level feels like a really good thing. Maybe late game when your burgers are, above 25% power and you really kind of, come on, lose the power, maybe have a few less of them. But again, like, they're the guys who give you the most tax, so having 10 per level of a building that you can kind of just spam out, I don't know, it feels like another buff to something that I was sleeping on, and believe me, I'm not anymore. Anyway, market access uses the best of upstream river, downstream river, or road connection now instead of a weird combination. Proximity bonuses from rivers now work through lakes, very nice. Colonial charters will not benefit from the origin location if colonial maintenance is 0. A lot of trade-related buildings like marketplaces and market villages now improve local market access. Again, just... are we gonna just continue buffing the market village? I'm sorry I slept on it. I apologize. I will be using this a lot now. Rebalance a few stacking development benefits. Reduced a few ways to stack prosperity. Rough vegetation slows down road building much further. I'm not sure I care too much about the length of time that it takes to build a road. If it made it more expensive, that would be one thing. The roads are already pretty expensive. But just slowing down how long it takes to build them, I don't particularly care about, if I'm perfectly honest. Fix it so lakes have maxed maritime presence always, very nice. Roads now make proximity costs ignore vegetation. We saw that before. I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Reduced, rebalanced, and replaced a lot of proximity modifiers. I'm curious as to what this is, and specifically, I don't think you can see it in... Is it in the... Wait, you don't have a culture one? No. I don't think it's in Orthodoxy. I'd have to actually form them to figure it out, but... Yeah, essentially these guys had some ridiculous proximity reductions, which made it quite OP, and a lot of people were forming Russia specifically for their proximity situation, which I guess no longer is the case. Market range checks different coastline. Alexandria can now get to India. Very nice. Increased payment from colonial nations in the Age of Absolutism and the Age of Revolutions. Okay, I mean, increase the payment, sure. Am I going to be able to keep them loyal, though, is the question. Who knows? Can no longer build worse forts in locations with better ones. I mean, fine. You now need to have researched the Patron of the Arts advanced to commission art. Fiefdoms, dominions, and state banks no longer change religion on their own. Very nice. Religion and culture country lists updated properly when releasing historical subjects. Fine. Tweaked a lot of bonuses to population growth that could stack too high. Limited the marriage rules to the ruling dynasty closely related to the ruler. So you're not going to be able to basically go in and like, oh, all of these nobles, I want these guys to marry this, that, and the other. You're being prevented from doing a lot of the marriage game. We will see if that results in an empty cabinet soon. I'm a little worried about that one. Cultures that have no pops no longer cost cultural upkeep. I mean, that makes sense to me. I thought it already did, but I guess not. Fix that they don't desire anything more. Peace acceptance factor not triggering when peace offer was set to demanding. I feel like... Is this... Oh, there. This is the one that I'm thinking of. Fix the current peace acceptance impact being calculated differently when the peace offer was set to demanding and offering. Is this basically changing it so that before, when you were offering or demanding a white peace, they were saying no. But then if you offered a white peace, they would then say yes. Is that really what we're seeing here? Because I don't know. This wording is a bit weird to me. Feel free to clarify if you can glean more from it. Fix the start annexation diplomatic action being visible on subjects that were already being annexed. Asking for... Oh, here's a huge one. Asking for money caps at 4 times the asker's tax base. So you, as a tiny shit-pip weasel, can't demand several thousand ducats from France anymore, or the Pope anymore, or Castile anymore. You can only get 4 times your own tax base. And you can do that once every 10 years. So, honestly, it's still a lot of money, and I still would prefer to have that money rather than not have that money, but it's good that there is now a cap on it. Diplomats work properly once above the limit, allowing a monthly reduction but no further monthly increase. This is the bug or the exploit that Legend of Total War was talking about in one of his videos, so that's good that that was fixed. Acceptance of marriage offers now includes the age of the consort before selecting the recipient country, fixing the issue of inconsistent acceptance of marriage offers in different target selection windows. Basically, they will say yes to marrying this woman, and then you bring the woman to the marriage thing, and then they decline. You're like, why? And oh, it's because she's 63. So yeah. Either way, that's fixed now. Fixed denied military access CB. I didn't know that there was a CB for that. Fair enough. Isolating from allies now requires you to be allied. At first I thought, wow, this is painful, but other than that, not really. You have to be allied with somebody to ask that they stop being allied to another person. That was always what I was doing anyway. Like, an example from earlier today, I'm playing as Portugal. I'm allied with 2 Sicilies. I want to attack Castile. Castile is allied with 2 Sicilies. So, I need to bump up my favors with 2 Sicilies so that I can get 2 Sicilies to isolate allies with Castile, break that alliance, so that I can attack Castile without 2 Sicilies joining in. It just made sense that I would need to be allied with 2 Sicilies to get to 20 favors. That just obviously makes sense. Anyway. Another huge one, seizing territory from subjects makes the locations conquered, not cores. So this is a massive, massive, massive change to a lot of people's strategies. The amount of Liberty Desire scales with population, buildings, and development, so it's not going to be 20 Liberty Desire flat no matter what you take. So this is a huge, huge deal. Calling ally uses the correct border distance calculation for AI acceptance. Okay, good. Fine. Intervene in war, action works as intended. Concede locations through corridors. No longer give out claim throne CBs for heirs under a regency. Failure to give adequate land to an ally in a peace treaty now gives a trust hit rather than a trust bonus. It was very funny to use that. Violating sovereignty isn't instantly cancelled if you're already allowing them mill access. When subjects break free from overlords, they leave wars. Fair enough. Stuff, blah, blah, blah. Rebalance how good levies are with decent progression through the ages. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, look, we'll see. You know, we've heard this one before. We'll see. Actually, we're gonna go test it. This here is my Portugal game that I've been playing. I'm going to try and form Spain and get the Plus Ultra achievement. But we're going to test it. This is let's just test it with this 9,800 army. They have 6 Tercio, 14 Heavy Lancers, and 4 cannons. We're going to declare war on Castile. I'm pretty sure I got a truce. Yeah, let's declare war on France instead. I'm sure that's even more fine. 50, whatever. This is not going to be saved, so I don't really care. I've already copied the thingamabob. Anyway, let's get our army roughly into position, and I'll bring you back when I have found a decent battle to have. Okay, I have found a battle. This is the battle we're going to do. We're outnumbered 2-1. First of all, before we get into this battle, again, I'm going to show you what the numbers are. 5 Tercio, 19 Lancers, 4 cannons. I could have used this. Look, either one is fine. They're both the same kind of army. But another thing that I did not see in the changelog is a new alert, a new banner, a new doodad at the top, and it's a pretty good one. It's pretty good one. It's this hand symbol right here. I think people are going to enjoy this one. Country action is off cooldown. The ask for money country action can be used again. Absolutely beautiful. I'm only going to gain 1,300 ducats from it, which is, you know, only just twice my tax base. But that's freaking awesome. I am a big fan of putting that button up there. Anyway, let's have this battle. They have 20,000 roughly levies. I have a mixed army. It's not exactly at full strength, and I've just finished a war with Castile. I'm a little bit out of manpower. But we're going to have this battle. We're going to see what happens. They might suffer a -1 for being on a river, but it is a flatland. It is sparse, so it shouldn't be too bad. Pre-update, this battle would be an absolute wash to the point where I probably would have stack wiped. This is still pretty rough. But they are going to try and reinforce, which I don't think they ever would have before. And wait, are they reinforcing with a regular army? This seems like a regular army. I'm gonna get absolutely murdered here. France, please. I am actually being murdered. This is fun. I am killing way more than I'm losing, though. About 2-1 casualties. Anyway, was that a regular army? I feel like it was. Yes, it was. It was full regulars, and I still beat the crap out of them. I suppose that's what happens when I'm using heavy lancers, tercio, and chambered cannons versus their heavy lancers, chambered cannons. Wait, they're using the same thing. They're using my regiments. Are they using arquebusiers, which is an age before, I believe? No, they're actually the same age as me. I don't know why I beat the crap out of them. I guess Portuguese superiority, France in the bin. Either way, let us move on. There's obviously still more rebalancing needs to be done with armies. I'm not sure what the situation is. I don't think I should have won that second battle at all. Being outnumbered by an army that is also regulars, I didn't manage to consolidate or anything. Yeah, I don't know. Battles now only start with 125% maximum frontage in the sections. All of the units go into the reserve. I don't actually understand how that affects things, but okay. Reduced frontage bonus from defensive societal values. Fixed bugs where morale wasn't scaled to strength twice. Fun. Guess that was a very bug needed to fixing twice. Drilling now sets a forced 100% maintenance for the unit. Thought it did already, but okay. Transport costs now scale with how many men you have in a unit. Thank every god that anyone could possibly believe in. I hated this. This was basically a case of I have an army that has got, 273 men in it, but it could have been more. Therefore, I gotta make space for the frickin' I gotta make space for the imaginary friends or the ghosts of the deceased. Like, that was so annoying, so I'm glad that that has been fixed. Armies now take damage to morale from attrition instead of gaining morale from it. I didn't know that that was a thing. I'm glad that's fixed. Garrison recovery ticks are on daily ticks, not on monthly, but they're slower as well. Okay, I'm okay with this. This will help when you are fighting somebody, the AI, who has lowered the lowered their fort defense slider to the minimum. They've only got like 100 dudes instead of 250 in a castle. So you declare war, you rush to the fort, you assault it, blah blah blah. Now, if the garrison is increasing on a daily tick, that is going to be less viable. But that's a good change. Threshold of recruiting a new group of levies is now 20% instead of 50% recovered. So you're going to be able to recruit them a bit faster when they are completely wiped out, but obviously they're going to be smaller. War score calculated correctly for vassals. Maritime presence doesn't clear itself incorrectly anymore. Colonial charters keep to their source location with more restrictions on where you can specify as a source. Minimum 1k peasants in the location. And colonial charters no longer need a source province. So they keep to the source province location. They keep to the location, but they don't need a province. Are these not contradictory? They just take the capital region. I feel like those are contradictory. Again, maybe I'm brain farting. Someone can help me out in the comments if I am wrong. Invalid advances now been removed from the research queue. Okay, exports now spread institutions. Another huge one. And this is especially going to help places like India. You're exporting your goods to, say, Alexandria, which we can now see from a previous patch note has been made more viable. And you're getting institutions that way. It's not just about importing from the institution. So this is really huge. This is key. Claim throne CB now includes the claimant, so the character itself that will be on the throne. Tweak the calculation for upstream and downstream rivers. Cool. Disease stats get transferred from the old country to the new one when losing a revolt. Added individual disease resistance modifiers. This one is huge as well. Hiring an advisor now costs government power. Generals cost army tradition, and admirals navy tradition, and artists cost prestige. Okay, we're going to test this as well, because this is something that I have thought has been absolutely dog-ass since I first played the game, like, almost a year ago. This button right here used to cost several, like 3 or 4 times your total income. It was awful. No one ever clicked it. And then they nerfed it even further because it used to give you somebody of the crown estate, which at least was a little bit better than, just being complete crap. And now they've changed it again. So, how much legitimacy is really going to be worth clicking this? 12.7. Would I hire for 12.7? Base cost of 20. Base cost of 20. I don't know. I mean, maybe? Maybe. If I have no characters, then yeah. Right now, in this campaign, I am not struggling for that. If I had no characters whatsoever, would I spend 20 legitimacy to get a new one? Yeah, I probably would. This is a good change. This is a good change. I don't think I'd ever do it with an artist. I don't even know how to hire a new artist. I'm not gonna lie. So whatever. Hiring admirals and generals though. A general is 7.9 army tradition or 10 base. That's honestly fine. I would probably hire that. You get nope, not for that. I wouldn't. That's pretty crap. Yeah, that's pretty crap as well. I mean, I guess they get a trait, but no, that's really bad. All right, let's see. What about this one? I mean, at least you get some decent trait here. He's not terrible, but yeah, I don't think. Oh, and it's spammable. No. Oh, good lord. Okay. Well. Okay. Some changes to the map as well. Separated lakes from seas. Okay. Forming Belgium considers locations in the Brabant area. Added Dies Guild to a Chinese town and city setup. Okay. Truce between Portugal and Castile 6 months before the real date due to gameplay reasons. Very good. England starts with a few more what's called privileges. This is actually something I'm going to just go and test in a second. Okay, so I went to check. Essentially what I was looking for is whether you could now use England as a method of getting the What the Lord Giveth achievement. Start with 8 privileges and then remove them all. There's only, I think, 3 countries in the game that can actually do it. France, Japan, and I forget the third. But no, you can't do it. This essentially is an AI buff, right? Because England at the moment really struggles against France because, let's be honest, France has been buffed to all hell. So giving it things like primacy and nobility, giving it things like common militias is just gonna make it so that the AI is maybe a little bit better at fighting them. I don't think it's gonna help though. London now starts with the dock, which is also very nice. Really, actually, this is going to help with the control that they have all over the coast, which is really, really good. Added St. Paul's Cathedral as well. Starting building setup for Athens and Thessaloniki. Cardinal seats no longer be destroyable. Very nice. Some other stuff in here as well. There was one thing that I saw that I really wanted to point out as well. Multiply the willingness of the AI to use the Colombian exchange actions. So this, I don't think I've ever seen the AI use it at all. Multiplying the willingness, as long as it's, you know, increasing it by 500 times would be great, as long as the starting number isn't 0, because 500 times 0 is still 0. English AI will be more strategic and capable when it comes out to buying out the French subjects. So hopefully that is going to be very, very good as well. But yeah, there is one that I really wanted to point out as well because it's incredibly important. I'm going to find it. Here's one. The House of York will now be properly founded. You may end up seeing an English War of the Roses. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen it in EU5, but maybe we're going to be able to see it in EU4. That would be kind of nice. House of York and House of Lancaster. I've seen the House of York being farmed. Basically, that is the brother of your ruler. Actually, I'm on England, so I might as well show it off. If Edward here has a second son, that second son generally ends up firing an event to become, you know, York rather than Plantagenet. So that's nice. There's somebody I can ask for money from with England. Why is this here? I can't ask anyone for money as England right now. What the hell? That shouldn't be there. Okay, maybe something need work there. Ask to improve cultural opinion is on cooldown. Right, but I can't use it, so why is it here? Whatever. Okay, some things still need a little bit of work. But the other thing that I found that I think people are going to be very, very excited for is down here just a little bit. Here it is. The Romans can become the Romans once again. Or, let's say, Byzantium can form the Roman Empire tag again. I don't particularly care. I don't particularly care about this, to be perfectly honest. I think, in my opinion, this tag is the Roman Empire. Like, just intrinsically. So it being able to form the Roman Empire seems silly when their whole deal is we are the Roman Empire. Not a successor state, but literally the direct continuation. So it seems a bit silly when you're playing as them to be able to form it, but at the same time, I understand people kind of want to do that, so on that hand, sure, whatever. And another huge one, the invite German settlers privilege no longer depopulates German locations. So if you have been playing in Germany or playing any game and you open the population map, occasionally you will see, you know, basically normal green, oranges, yellows, and then just black spots, just absolute death holes where there is quite literally a single dude remaining, because the rest of them decided to, you know, settle Poland or something. But anyway, those are the ones that I found that were very, very important and interesting. There is still a bunch of stuff in here as well. Some mission changes, some art changes, AI changes, military AI. AI will now transfer occupation to the war leader if the occupied locations are neighboring the war leader, but not the controller. Okay, fair enough. I still would prefer a more visible desire mechanic, because I know it's in there. I know there is a desires land mechanic in there somewhere, but it's so obfuscated that I'm not sure really what to do with it. But either way, AI will now want to use their fleets more readily. AI will try and reinforce imminent and ongoing battles more readily, which I think we just saw with the France battle that we just tested. And AI will keep empty regulars when consolidating units to prevent costly rebuilds after the war. That is one of the big problems with the warfare system right now, is when you beat the crap out of the AI, they will consolidate their troops, and then you bring your troops home to reinforce, so you have your army back to normal size, and they are just constantly losing regulars again and again and again. That's no longer going to happen, so that is fantastic. Some map modes and stuff, the alerts, we've seen a couple of those already, which is nice. Some panel changes, etc., tooltip changes. Like I said, there's a lot in here. Modders get some stuff, some translation stuff, some OOS fixes. The autosave interval setting is blocked rather than hidden in Iron Man. Okay, and control keys are now rebindable in input binding sessions. Okay, Iron Man games will be autosaved yearly instead of monthly. That's good. I'm a fan of that. That works for me. But this one as well. AI will no longer open and close foreign buildings in its lands. If you are a colonizer and you have maybe built slave pens or slave houses or whatever the hell they're called, I can't remember. I don't use them too much because they were kind of broken. Essentially, the problem was you built these slave houses in, you know, Mali, Benin, whatever, and then AI would just close them, and you would be unable to, you know, do the triangle trade functionality. Another problem was, I can't really show it here because I don't have the New World, but I had a campaign as the Dutch where I built a ton of plantations in Caribbean, and then my colonial nations closed the plantations. The things that I built, they closed them, and I couldn't do anything about it. And that infuriated me, absolutely incensed me. That is also no longer going to happen. Absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. Love that. But anyway, that is essentially what we're getting with 1.0.10. I am going to be streaming my Portugal campaign tonight in approximately 3 hours from, well, maybe 2.5 hours from when this video goes live. over on twitch.tv/LordLambert_, and I'm going to be using 1.0.10. We're going to be playtesting it. We're going to be finding the kinks, finding where things are amazing, finding where things may not be amazing, and things may still need to be changed. But it is in open beta, so keep the mindset open because of that. Anyway, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I am going to go and play a little bit of Milan, because that's just what I do whenever we get a new update. Thanks all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.